me I don't know how to make an entrance. I really didn't mean to knock it over like that. What good is an unboxing video if you don't bang the box around a little bit though? So I just got in the mail this brand new ARIEL RIDER X52. It's a 52 volt e-bike. So I'm gonna start ripping into this thing right now. I love what they do here is they put a picture of a TV on the box. Everybody thinks that there's a TV inside this box, but there's not a TV. There's an ARIEL RIDER e-bike inside. I believe they do this so that the delivery drivers will be a little bit more careful with the box. It arrived in perfect condition, and I'm gonna start cutting it open. Boom. I'm gonna do this nice and neat. Remove all these staples from the cardboard. Okay, and now for the big unveiling of the e-bike. Here comes. Yeah, that's not how I intended to do it. Okay, let's get this back up here. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, there we go. We had an explosion of styrofoam. Oh yeah. All right, there we go. That's our X-Class. The way it comes in the box, it's pretty much assembled fully. It's got a box of parts here. I just got to take off all the styrofoam and put together a few things. I'm just gonna go around this whole bike, remove all of this zip tie and styrofoam padding and everything. Take all these pieces off the bike. It's gonna take a little while. Oh my God, dude. You f***ing kidding me? God it. Oh, f***. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
One eternity later.
Okay, so here's a top tip for when you're putting together your e-bike and unboxing it. Don't stab your tire with a knife. It's just not the right thing to do. You don't want to stab your tire with a knife. You don't want to do that. Or else you'll be driving around to 5 different bike shops trying to find a new inner tube for a bike that you haven't ridden yet. So moving on, I'm gonna start putting this bike together now. I got a new tube in the front tire here, so I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these handlebars on so I can stop them from dangling here on the ground. This ARIEL RIDER e-bike comes with all the tools that you need to assemble it inside the box. There's not a single tool that I needed that I had to go somewhere else to get. So most of them goes together with a hex bolt on the handlebars, and I just finished putting that on. Now I'm flipping up the bike so that I can get the front tire put on. All that I need to do is, you see this little plastic plate that goes on the axle. You just have to remove that little plate, and the wrenches, everything that you need to put the front tire on comes in the box, like I said. Assembly of this bike was extremely easy. Anybody could probably do this. I mean, unless you have some sort of handicap or something like that, it might be a little bit difficult. It is an 80-pound bike, so moving it around could be a little bit tough, but I had it together in about 30 minutes or so, and I had no issue. What you see me doing here now is putting the pedals on to the crank assembly, and there's only 2 more things after that. It was the front fender and the headlight assembly also need to go on. So here I am putting on the front fender, and soon after this I put on the headlight. I sped up all this footage because it's quite a bit boring, and unboxing videos really aren't my thing. So I just wanted to get through it. Ooh, I even went through the instruction manual. That's unusual. I didn't interact with the camera much at all during this process because I was a little bit ticked off that I had just stabbed my tire. I'm on the X-Class 52 volt. I just powered it on for the first time. As you can see, we got power here. Everything looks fine. I'm just gonna give it a little quick ride around and see how it does. I am out here right now for my first ride on the X-Class 52 volt e-bike. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bed the brakes. Bedding the brakes is something that you should do before you really ride your bike. It's a series of starting and stopping and warming up the brakes and transferring the material from the brake pad onto the rotor. So it really helps make these brakes work quiet and bite really hard when you're trying to do some braking. So I'm gonna start doing all these phases of bedding the brakes, and it just takes a little while. Totally worth doing. So right now I've got a nice stretch of pavement that's not too busy, and I'm just gonna go up and down this pavement real quick and bed the brakes in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the front brakes first. I'm gonna be traveling maximum of 10 miles per hour, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the brakes on the front only until I slow down to about 2 miles an hour, almost 1 mile an hour. I'm just not gonna stop fully. I'm gonna do that a series of 10 times on the front brake, and then I'm gonna do the back brakes a series of 10 times. Then I'm going to increase the speed and move up to 15 miles an hour and slow it down again to almost stopping, and do the front brake separately from the back brake. It's a total of 40 cycles of brakes, and what I'm doing is I'm really heating up that rotor, heating up my brake pads, and getting them to the point where they're nice and hot. That's called bedding the brakes, and it makes your brakes work much better and quieter in the future. This is something you're pretty much going to want to do on any kind of e-bike or a bike with rotor brakes, is bed the brakes in. I don't know why they call them bedding. I guess it's like putting them to bed, like a sweet little baby, putting that little baby to bed. But I'm going to start riding up and down the road here, and I'll show you pretty much what it is. It's really straightforward. It's not too exciting, but it's necessary to make these brakes work really nice before really going out and romping on this thing. So this is the process of bedding the brakes in. It's a very boring process and it's not very exciting, so I wanted to do a little video of me doing it so you know what I'm talking about when I talk about bedding the brakes. This video I've sped up to 250 times speed, and I just go through it really quickly, and I do the cycle of everything. But you can look at this video and you can see what you need to do on your own bike with rotor brakes to bed the brakes in and get them ready for really riding it. I've been doing the front brakes here 15 times, 10 miles an hour to nearly a stop. You don't want to completely stop, but you want to switch. You want to slow all the way down to almost a stop. And then you're going to do the back brakes. The back brakes you're going to do 15 times, 10 miles an hour to a near stop. I think I may have misspoke earlier and said 10 times at 10 miles an hour. So you're going to do it 15 times on the front brake and the back brake. And then once you're done with the first cycle of 15 times at 10 miles an hour, you're gonna increase the speed a little bit. Now this is the first time I've ever done bedding the brakes. I've never had a bike that had rotor disc brakes before. And at this point, you can see in the video, we are increasing the speed up to 15 miles an hour and then slowing to a near stop. One thing that I did miss is that I should have let both brakes cool between these two different speeds for about 15 minutes, and I actually didn't let them cool. So I probably didn't do the best job of bedding the brakes on this bike. But that being said, they maybe make a little bit of noise, but they are extremely powerful when they're stopping. Very, very powerful brake system on this bike. It will literally lock up the brakes no matter what speed you're going. If you hit them hard, the brakes are gonna lock up and the tire is gonna stop. So this was my first time ever doing this. I just thought I would show you the process real quick and do a little bit of brake bedding before I really rode this bike, because I wanted to get the most longevity out of this bike, the most use out of these brake pads that I possibly could, and get the best braking experience with them. So we're just about done, and we're gonna move on to the end of the video, do some high-speed runs right here. So please enjoy. Man, this thing is fast. It gets up to top speed in like, I don't know, 10 seconds or something like that. We'll see on the replay how quickly it gets up to its top speed, but man, this thing's doing about 33, 34 miles an hour, it says on the speedometer, so I don't know, it's pretty awesome. Take it for another high-speed run here. Wow. Man, this thing is smoking. It is so fast. Wow, holy crap.